Third and final hour of the day, third and final hour of the week. Welcome into the LoDown Live. The studio is crowded. We are so happy you are here with us. Whether you're listening on 1140 AM, whether you're listening on the KHTK app, and welcome those watching the LoDown Live over on KHTK.com. Jason Ross, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, rocking his 2005 WNBA championship ring. Of course, Cody Baylor is with us as well, the champ in the production studio, and Deuce and Mo here with us.
Yes.
For the final 30 minutes of today's show. Yes, it is only 30 minutes because at the bottom of the hour, we're going to get you ready for Kings basketball. The Sacramento Kings, the second night of a back-to-back. They just traveled down I-95, headed into Philadelphia, hit that Jersey Turnpike. They're ready to roll here.
That's good knowledge right
no
there.
kidding.
I-95.
I was impressed.
Did you make that up?
Have you been there before?
I may have driven that route about 50
Take left
times.
at Costco. If you hit the railroads, you've gone too far.
Oh, no, you don't exit the Jersey Turnpike, baby. You ride that thing all the way out. But the Sacramento Kings and the Philadelphia 76ers got a tip at 4 o'clock, so we're going to Kings Live with J. Ross, Deuce, and Mo coming up at 3:30. We're going to game night at 2:30, so we're going to wrap up the lowdown here at the bottom of this hour. Again, we're so happy you're here with us each and every single week. We ask you to send Jason Ross mail, like actual letters in envelopes with stamps. Yes,
I hate to interrupt. I have a beef with Jason Ross. I think you could relate to for a second, because I hear you guys like The Office, and I saw that awesome intro that Matt George did. Jason Ross says, "I'm watching The Office now." And I'm like, "Oh, awesome! That's great. What season are you on?" "Oh, I don't know. I just watch the reruns when they come on."
No.
J-Ross.
What is this? 1998? I could just imagine him putting in the VHS tape, hitting record on TBS to make sure he doesn't miss that half hour fast forwarding through commercials. Go on Netflix. He's got Netflix. Watch it in order.
One time, I'm actually going to agree with Deuce. What the heck? J-Ross. Seriously?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you think about that, Damien?
I actually didn't have a problem.
Whoa, my
Yeah.
Get me out of here!
We are happy that Jason is actually watching.
Well,
it.
that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's like, it's the most J. Ross thing ever. Like,
So your standards for J-Ross are that low? Seriously, you guys?
yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to stuff like
Jason,
this,
yeah.
yeah.
So
like,
what do you do if you missed a rerun?
No,
You just go, "Oh, wait till tomorrow at 6:30.
Don't you just get confused?
no, you're not. What are you missing?
Jim and Pam being in love and then not being in love, you're just not going to know.
Spoiler alert.
Well, that's
Thank you. The
He
last show I watched was season 5. I think before that was season 2. I've seen some season 9.
he's already seen the episode where Jim and Pam got married. He comes in
Yeah.
every
That's a
once
really
in a
good
while.
one.
He comes in and he asks questions like, "Okay, wait a minute. How did this happen?
Yeah.
Or why is this person with this person? What? There's only
It's
3
baby
storylines.
steps.
There's only 3 storylines in The Office that matter.
It's actually really great because he doesn't watch it in order, and he'll say like, "Hey guys, I saw this one last night."
Yeah.
And then me and Damien start doing quotes from that, and then
Right.
Jason will jump in.
There it is.
When I quoted
It's-
The Office on the show, I felt like I arrived.
You hit it. Yeah, that was actually just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was.
So welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
It took 3 years,
Yeah.
but we finally got you here. But it's Jim and Pam, Dwight and Angela, and Michael and Holly. Those are the only 3
Oscar and
arcs
Gil.
that matter.
Okay, but
No,
Dwight and Angela
no.
don't last forever. Spoiler alert, everyone out there.
Excuse me. How did the show end?
Not with,
Oh,
Dwight and Angela?
Yeah.
Really?
are you kidding me?
I'd have to go
The
back.
final episode was Dwight and
Actually,
Angela's
have to go
wedding.
back too.
Oh, you're right. Oh, my goodness.
My
the end gets
VCR
murky,
though.
hasn't recorded that one yet.
But you missed the breakup, all right? You missed the breakup and who she gets with during that
Yes,
time.
that is.
Or Angela.
Angela,
Oh,
who she
senator.
gets with.
gotcha.
And maybe Pam.
And Andy.
I just
Oh,
want some
really?
of
Yeah.
Kevin's world
I'm
famous
just messing
chili.
with you.
Kevin's world famous chili.
Yeah.
Is, he lets the
That's a great-
he lets them all get to know each other
Yeah.
in the pot.
The trick is to undercook the onions.
It's really the thing I do the best.
Yes.
If you have not seen the Open that Matt George put together for us, check out the Sports 1140 KHTK various social media platforms, as Cody tells you to do throughout the day. Of course, you can find all of us all over social media. Deuce and Mo, we're so happy that you are here with us. Cody, we're happy you were finally able to make your way in here with us today. We've got to get this mailbag segment started, Cody, so let's get going.
Let's start. More regrets from last offseason. Dave Gettleman or Le'Veon Bell?
I'm going tie. I'm going
Ooh,
a push here.
tie.
Even though Le'Veon Bell says, "Hey, I was preserving my health. I was worried about those 400 carries a game, 400 touches. Not 400 carries a game. That'd be a record. 400 in a season and all of that." Dave Gettleman, you signed a contract you instantly regretted, and you still clearly have no direction. If I were to say, if you forced me to pick one who has more regrets, I think it's Dave Gettleman.
That's cute. You can sit on the fence, Damien, but I'm going to go with Gettleman because he let a safety walk and then he traded away one of his best pass rushers where their pass rushing defense already sucks, let's just say. And then he got rid of that one guy. What was his name?
Not a small deal.
Yeah, Odell Beckham Jr.
Is that
Do you know?
what it is?
Yeah, I think he's popular, but for picks and a safety. So congratulations, he got a safety back and some picks. So I'm going to go with Gettleman.
They regretted that deal the second
They
they
signed
signed
him.
it.
All the dead money that they lost. This is Gettleman for sure. Le'Veon Bell at least rested his body and he got paid out. Gettleman has been making bad decision after bad decision. If you go back to the Panthers and he was a GM for the Panthers, he's the whole reason Steve Smith left. And they just finally released, what's his name, Khalil? The Panthers released him after that horrible contract. He just doesn't know how to make contracts.
How bad do you have to be for Steve Smith to go, dude, I'm fed up with this.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah. I'm going Gettleman too. And another reason is you guys point out the obvious ones too, but the whole commitment to Eli Manning, I just don't get it. Eli Manning, it's like the equivalent of watching Dirk now, where you're like, look, we all like Eli, okay, you did some good things, but you haven't been good in years, and for some reason we keep you around. But he's the quarterback. Yeah. It's clearly a position that they got to fix. And look, I like Barkley. That was a good pick. I get that. But what's the direction? You're going with Eli again this year? That's a joke.
Yeah.
Dirk was an all-star.
That's true.
Yeah.
And honestly, Eli was probably a Pro Bowl alternate based on how things go in the NFL.
Everybody is. I'm going to say Le'Veon Bell because of one, he joined the Jets. Two,
what's wrong with the Jets?
What's right about the Jets?
Oh, man.
They've been making a lot of moves this offseason.
Yeah.
I'm on the Jets bandwagon right now.
Really?
Adam Gase?
Wow.
Really?
Just wait.
Well, he's creepy. I mean, for sure.
Okay.
The way he looks in the camera is just like...
All right, let's move on to the next one. Who's had the best NFL offseason so far?
Let's go with the Raiders.
Oh,
You're cute.
is that Chuck from it? Or I can't believe I called him Chuck and he doesn't like Chuck.
It's fine. He likes that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they got the best wide receiver in football, Antonio Brown.
Okay. Mo?
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So I was going to go with the Raiders, but when you
thought that was cute.
when you really look at everything and you look at what they did with Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper and what they actually already had, I'm going to go with the Browns. And now the Browns, let's see, they traded away picks, or I'm sorry, they traded a pair of picks and peppers for
Picks and peppers.
for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
They've added some depth to their defensive line, and now they have a lot of cap space, so they can go out and get a new safety.
Picks and Peppers is opening up on
Isn't that
K
cute?
Street
Yes.
in April, by the way.
How many picks
Sounds
and peppers
delicious.
have they picked?
Ooh. I'm going to go with the
Plenty.
Browns as well. Just adding OBJ, not just Odell Beckham, but they also added Vernon from the Giants, who just solidifies Myles Garrett, and Sheldon from the Vikings. Their defense is just what?
No, that you bring up a great name.
Sheldon
that
Richardson. Legit.
You bring up a great name. I think
And I'm very upset that the Vikings do not have him anymore.
I
but-
think you bring up a great name we keep forgetting about. Myles Garrett is still a stud.
Yeah, him paired with Vernon, it's a great move.
Are you going Browns? Because I'm going Browns.
No, I'm going Jets. Get on board, guys.
What is this? What is your
I'm being
deal?
serious. You guys can sleep on him all day. Le'Veon Bell. Do we forget how good
I'm sorry.
Le'Veon Bell is? Did we forget about him?
I'm sorry.
And did we? I'm not done. C.J. Mosley? Are you kidding me? This guy's a freak of nature. And then the trade that I really do like a lot. They get Osemele from the Raiders, who I think is a stud and a half.
He was a great player.
They have offensive line issues that they still need to work on. But look, Adam Gase, Sam Darnold,
So
you got
cute.
Le'Veon Bell, who's a dual threat. He's had a year off. Okay, you guys can laugh at me now, but go ahead and
We will.
You'll go ahead in week 7. Like, man, Deuce was right about these Jets.
Jason, what division are the Jets in?
He'll be 4 back of Tom Brady.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I didn't say they were going to win it all. I'm just saying that they're having a good. Was a question about the offseason? Did I miss something?
I think
I was
it
sleeping
was.
on
Yes.
the Jets. I don't remember.
You
I
guys
was
are
sleeping on the
sleeping.
Jets.
All right.
Okay.
Wake up.
Who will have a bigger impact on their team, Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr.?
The Jets.
Impact on the team. I'll take this one first. I think it's Antonio Brown. And the reason I think it's Antonio Brown is because of how stacked Cleveland is. I think Antonio Brown is going to have a bigger impact on the team because I think we're going to immediately be looking at, okay, we already started to do it. We did it the day after the trade was done. How good is Derek Carr? Because now you've complained about Amari Cooper. We saw what Amari Cooper could do with Dak Prescott. Suddenly he wasn't dropping balls in Dallas like he was in Oakland. Okay, fine. Now you have, as Jason noted a moment ago, the best wide receiver in football. I think the answer is Antonio Brown because instantly, as we already are, we're looking at Derek Carr and how much better he's going to be with Antonio Brown on his roster.
I'm going to go Odell Beckham. His ability just to run various routes definitely helps. Callaway went 39 and 68 last year. And just having Odell there being able to push him down to the third option is going to give him time to develop. And then you have Landry who went, is it Landry?
Jarvis
Jarvis
Landry.
Landry.
Yeah, absolutely.
He went 9 of 24 for
Old
catches
college
that
teammates.
were 20-plus yards last year. So Odell being able to get those longer passes will keep him in the short passes where he can really flourish.
Odell Beckham. That offense gets explosive. I know Kareem Hunt's a touchy subject too because what he did. But after his 8-game suspension, that's another threat to the offense. I just think with the addition of Beckham, it just makes him so much more explosive, and he's going to have a huge impact whether he's catching the ball or not because of Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I think this is a really close one, but I'm going to go with Antonio Brown just because of the need of what the Raiders – I mean, he's going to have to be the offense. Beckham will be great for Cleveland, but the bigger impact, I think, is going to be Antonio Brown.
And Jason Ross and Damian are correct. It's going to be Antonio Brown.
Hey,
And
the answer key.
yes, congratulations. I think Derek Carr is really going to have a bounce-back year, and now he has Trent Brown on the offensive line where he's going to protect Carr, give him lots and lots of time in that pocket to really utilize his receiver the right way. Antonio Brown's going to make the bigger impact.
Who has more pressure, Antonio Brown or Carr?
Ooh.
Carr.
Yeah,
For
I think
sure.
so too.
I think if you can't utilize Antonio Brown and succeed off him.
Yeah, we
vibe.
saw the love fest with Antonio and
It was so
and,
cute.
and John Gruden. Yeah, and I'm sure Derek Carr. Yeah, exactly.
How about the really cheesy video of Brown showing up at Carr's house?
That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, God, how staged was that?
it
Hey,
kinda-
man, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. Are you good? I'm good. It's like, what? This is so phony.
You act like you've never staged a video before.
I don't. Everything is authentic.
Everything is authentic. All right.
He's the king of authenticity,
Yes.
folks. Dave, Deuce, Mason.
Every year, a team comes out of nowhere and has a great season. A couple years ago, it was the Raiders. Last year, it was the Bears. Who might it be this year?
Morgan.
I am going to go with the San Francisco 49ers.
Give me that laugh track.
Nope. Hey, stop. Deuce.
Rim shot.
Jimmy
Where's
G.
the jaw roll?
Jimmy
Anybody?
G, you guys. Come on now. Jimmy G. He's going to do what he does best at quarterback. You got Kyle Shanahan. He's a quarterback coach. Good relationship. It's going to go far. And then they're adding so much more to their defense with D Ford and Alexander. That's where the 49ers came from, was their defense, their grit. And that's what their history was about. I think they're going to build back to exactly what they once were.
Deuce, please say what I think you're going to say.
Say it.
I wasn't going to say the Jets are on my list, but I'm looking they are. I mean, you guys can laugh at the Jets all day long.
are.
Did you guys like Sam Darnold or no?
You're asking me?
Hey, Darnold, you don't like him? Hey,
Darnold,
good bit.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me as I'm like on the fence now because I look at all the teams in the bottom and like the 49ers, yeah, could they? But who are Jimmy G's weapons? He doesn't really have any right now. I kind of think a team that got dumped on a lot last year and had a disappointing year, the Vikings. And I think they're a candidate to me to bounce back. I think Gary Kubiak, adding him to that coaching staff can help out the offense a lot. And they still have a lot of the same core together. That's one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. They underachieved last year. I think they can come out of nowhere.
Deuce, you make me happy. I'm a Vikings fan, if you didn't know.
Are you?
I am.
Man.
So,
He asked with
well
such
done.
confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I see a team making a major jump like it's been done in the past. I'm kind of agreeing in a sense with Deuce, but I'm picking a team like.
But every year, someone we mentioned the Raiders. We were talking about them earlier. The Giants did it the year after they spent all of that money. The what was the other team that we mentioned? The Jaguars. The Jaguars did it.
Yeah, but I feel like would the Eagles qualify? I mean, they were 9-7, but I feel like they could be dynamic and great again. Could the Colts, who I think still finished 10-6, but I feel like they are really going to take off. So I don't feel like I don't know that I see a team that I see coming from completely out of nowhere at the bottom, all of a sudden making the postseason.
I went with the Browns. I know they picked up at the end of the season, but just adding Freddie Kitchens, I think it's just what he did at the end of the season. I'm really excited to see kind of how he puts this offense together next year and see what they can do.
Sorry, distracted by a headline here.
Wow.
What's the headline?
Yeah.
Police
Deuce likes the Jets?
investigating
Oh.
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, boy.
Tyreek Hill under investigation for alleged battery involving a juvenile teen.
No.
Isn't that not the first time?
Repeat offender.
Yeah. That's why you didn't want to read it. You didn't want to bring us down.
Well, no, I wanted
God, we
to
were so...
read more about it, but it caught I was looking for the term domestic violence. That's what I was looking for, because that would put Tyreek Hill in a spot where he's gone for the year. Because again, he's a repeat offender. But that's not what that was. This says something totally different. My answer is the Carolina Panthers. I am going to ride the Carolina Panthers again this upcoming season. I'm going to ride the Carolina Panthers again. But I have my eye on another team in that division that I don't like. And it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What?
I'm just curious about.
Is this Jameis's year finally?
No, dude.
Get out of here.
I'm just curious about Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm glad he's
all
back.
It is.
Yeah.
That's all. I look. If there's a guy who can do it, it's probably him. I don't understand Jameis Winston. I don't understand Tampa Bay, but I do get Bruce Arians, and I've seen what he's able to do when he was the de facto head coach for the Indianapolis Colts, and then, of course, what he did with the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're worth keeping an eye on there in that division.
Last one for you guys. With the playoffs almost certainly out of reach, give us one storyline to watch for the rest of the Kings season.
Mo, you start us off there.
Sure. I got Harry Giles' greatness, you guys. And just hear me out. His basketball IQ. We're seeing things that are so fun to see, not only from a young player, but just a big guy, too. The way that he just hangs on the ball, keeps it over his head, and to make great plays. Even last night, Bagley's cutting without the ball, and Giles is just seeing him. It's like a perfect point guard type pass, and that's what you want to see from your big guys. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Chris Webber.
Yeah, if he ever can hit that jumper consistently,
Yeah.
that's where it gets nasty. And I like the edge he plays with, even though that could get him in trouble
So
sometimes.
look at that going on the rest of the season.
Cody?
I want them to be able to capitalize on these leads that they've been getting, just be able to close out games.
Okay. That's, I think, all Kings fans would like to see them
Please.
close out
Yes.
games. J. Ross?
I still think the target is a winning season. So 42 or more, it would be one. And then the other one, 42 wins or more. And Buddy Hield marching up the three-point list for a single season and all time. He's having an awesome season. He's over 20 points a game. And I want to see where Buddy ends up finishing by the end of the year.
That's such an interesting, group to be a part of, because it's not amounting to anything for Buddy. You know what I mean? In terms of wins and losses. It's not, it's their, I don't want to go so far as to say they're empty calories, but they kind of are. Especially at this point.
They weren't empty throughout the
Not
year.
all
though.
year,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And I think we could talk about the Kings list, but the one that jumped out to me was where he is amongst players who are 3 years in.
Yeah.
And it's like Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, and then Buddy Hield's right there.
What was the number, 55 that he needed to pass? I
Yeah,
saw it
something like
earlier.
that.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
you
mean,
were the one who put that out there, but I saw
And even
that
single
earlier.
season, I think that he's in the company now of only like Steph and Clay that have done some of the numbers. So, it's just he's having an awesome season, and he's really a lethal weapon there beyond the arc.
One of your favorite movies, right?
Yeah, sure.
I guess I'm going a little negative here. I want to know how they're going to handle being out of it.
I like that.
Once they're done, eliminated from the playoffs, how they handle it? Are they going to keep playing the same way and say, you know what, we may be out of it, but we're going to show the NBA that we're going to finish strong and we're going to be here next year?
Yeah.
Or are they going to feel the adversity a little bit? Like, man, we had it. We added Harrison Barnes and it didn't work out. Like, how are they going to handle the adversity? They've been a great story all year. It's easy to be happy when things are going well. How are you going to handle it when you are officially out?
Yeah. And I think one other one I should have added, something we started the show with, Damian, basically, is the coaching situation.
Yeah.
Yeager's got 1 year left. I can't imagine him going into a final year without a deal. So either commit to him, go forward, sign a coach, sign the assistant, sign Vlade, go forward, keep this momentum, or if you change course, then you change course, but you better get it right because they've got good things going right now.
You guys work for the Sacramento Kings, so I want to be careful how I phrase these questions to you. How do you view Dave Yeager's coaching future with the Kings?
I think, to me, it's an obvious you should bring it back. Based on the fact, coming into this, it was like, okay, Dave Yeager is this grit and grind guy. And last year, even with De'Aaron Fox, they play at the slowest pace in the NBA. Well, look what he did this year. Mm-hmm. He changed the way they played, and they play with the second-best pace in the NBA. They definitely surpassed their win total that anyone thought they could get. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring him back. And obviously, there's, you don't go into next year with Dave Yeager on an expiring contract.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be shocking to me.
You look at the Coach of the Year nominees, and you could seriously make a case for Dave Yeager. Now, we've seen a Coach of the Year winner, Dwayne Casey, actually not have his job the following year.
Get fired before he gets the award in his hand.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like with this, there's so much more about where this culture is going, an identity that this team hasn't had before. And sure, there's players like Iman Shumpert before he was traded that he helped create that identity, but it really does start with Dave Yeager and that grit and grind and what he's been capable of doing as a coach.
I would have liked to have seen the situation with Brandon Williams resolved publicly. Whether it was resolved privately or not is something that we've never really been privy to, but it played out publicly. So it should have been resolved publicly. So as just
But they didn't put it out there publicly, right? That came
Brandon
out.
did, or Dave did. Somebody, Dave did the gimmick where he had Brandon Williams removed from.
I see what you're saying.
From
from
a
a
shoot
practice,
around.
yeah.
And then Brandon obviously sat courtside with Chris Haynes for an hour discussing Sacramento's beautiful weather in the springtime. It just so happened an article came out a week later. It felt like that wasn't resolved publicly. So now that we have Dave Yeager entering the final weeks of this season, headed into the offseason without it, I feel like this could have been taken care of already. And the fact that it's not leads me to believe that it won't.
Yeah, and maybe that's just something that's going to come up at the end of the season, and when they're sitting down and talking about the year, like something that they have to figure out.
And Vlade hasn't been extended either, has he?
No, not at this point.
Is his deal up after next season?
I think he also has one. Yeah. So at some point you got to make your commitments to all these guys, or like I said, change course.
Or
if
don't.
That's what, if that's what you believe.
Do one or the other.
Yeah.
In terms of things that I'd keep an eye on, Cody, you mentioned closing out games. I want to see if they're able to keep the same pace. Are they able to be that fast-paced team that tires teams out? Now that they're essentially induced, this maybe ties in a little bit to what you were talking about. Now that they're not playing for anything, they're playing for W's, of course. They're playing for wins. They're playing for themselves. They're not playing for a playoff position anymore. Are they able to keep that same pace that caught so many opponents off guard when the season started?
Yeah, they really should. I mean, that's their identity. That's their best version. I think they've got to keep doing that.
It feels like it's already fallen off to a certain degree, though they did put up 120 points last night in the losing
Right.
effort. So it's hard to judge anymore what's fast for them and what isn't.
And I think teams are going to do a better job at adjusting and being able to game plan to stop this team, whether it's in the backcourt and stop ball early and slow down their game and slow down their pace. But at the same time, it's really hard to stop speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you saw glimpses of that last night against Boston, where when they got that 13-point lead, the way they were moving without the ball, getting up and down the floor, pushing the pace, it was exciting to watch. Now, of course, Boston being the team that they are, their experience, they win in attack mode and attack the Kings inside. And then, of course, Sacramento didn't make any free throws. So,
Yeah, season-long problem there.
my goodness.
How does a pro team have so many difficulties making free throws?
I don't
They're
get it.
consistently shooting 50-something, 60-something%.
Yeah, I honestly, I try and go back and go, is it a fatigue thing? Is it a mental thing? Like, what is it? And it's a little bit of everything if you really look at it, because why can these guys make so many three-pointers? Well, it's muscle memory. It's, wanting to make that shot, wanting to practice that shot. And kids these days, they've been practicing those three-pointers instead of practicing the free throws.
Is that how they talked back then? Is that how
Turned
you
into the
coach kids?
1950s coach.
See, there's the baseball voice we were looking for.
Yeah,
Morgan could do it.
I was wondering what happened there.
It just turns on.
Well, that's the perfect note to go home.
Yeah.
Deuce and Mo, thank you guys so much. If you want more of J. Ross and Deuce and Mo, stick around. They'll be back with Kings Live at 3:30. Nate, thanks for all of your work on the live broadcast. Matt George, thank you for the office introduction that you put together for us. For J. Ross, Deuce, Mo, Cody B, I'm Damian Barling. We will see you Monday at noon. Have a fantastic weekend.